Hello everybody, Wannabe Reviewer here, and welcome back to the Wannabe Podcast, Episode 10. Now, I'm not gonna lie guys, but I am feeling quite frustrated right now. You see, I have been looking forward to playing Smash Bros. Ultimate so much, and yeah, unfortunately, my copy has not arrived yet. So you can bet that it's really frustrating seeing all these people on Twitter and everywhere else talking about how much fun they're having with the game. And I'm just sitting here dying because I want to play it so badly. And yeah, I just don't have my copy yet. And you might be wondering why I didn't just buy it digital or whatever. And I mean, at this point, I'm kind of regretting it. But it was just one of those things where if I bought it, you know, I had like a bit of a discount. So I wanted to save a bit of money. And not only that, but with it being kind of a bigger game, I wanted to save the storage space on the Switch, you know, the SD card. So yeah, I'm like, oh, I'll just buy the physical copy. That should be fine. And yeah, I mean, I guess it's not too bad. It should arrive sometime today, but I just wish that I could be playing it right now. Like, I've just been looking so much forward to that game. So yeah, like I said, just really frustrated, you know? But still, I mean, whatever. At least I have the podcast to keep my mind off of the game for a bit. So yeah. With that being said, though, let's get started with my week. And right off the bat, I'm just going to say it. My week is not too exciting. I was actually pretty busy with work this week. Like, I had a lot of stuff just going on. So even though I did do some things, you'll see that it's nothing too remarkable. Like, you'll see what I mean once I get started. So with that being said, let's start with the manga that I read. And I did not start any new manga. I basically just kept reading more of 20th Century Boys. And I did not get too far into 20th Century Boys. I mean, I think I'm on chapter 50 right now. So I made some progress, but not as much as I would have liked to. But still, from what I've read of 20th Century Boys, I keep really enjoying it. And I keep recommending it so far. Basically, the part that I got to right now, they showed more of Friend, as if you guys remember, Friend was the mysterious figure who's kind of like a cult leader, and he has people like planted in the government and the police force, all that stuff. And in these last few chapters, they showed more of Floren's influence and how it keeps growing. He's kind of, you know, like he's controlling more and more of like the government, and his cult is growing in members, that kind of thing. It's become almost like a religion at this point. So yeah, it showed more of how Friend has gained more power. And in the last part I got to, there was a bit of a time skip. So that was really interesting. I mean, I really want to see what happens with that. And yeah, I mean, if you haven't read it, not much to say about it because you'd have to kind of follow along in order to understand some of the stuff I'm talking about. But what I can say is that I am really enjoying it. The story continues to be really good so far. And yeah, just super interesting story. Art is pretty good. Characters are likable. The mystery of like who Friend is and how he's gained so much influence is interesting, and I continue to recommend it. So like I said, didn't read too much, only read like maybe like 20 chapters, but hopefully, you know, with this holiday break coming up and all that, hopefully I can make more, you know, progress. So when it comes to anime, same thing. I didn't really do anything too special when it comes to anime. There was a series that I wanted to tackle hopefully this week, like a new series. Unfortunately, I did not get around to watching it. So when it comes to anime, no new series. However, I did watch all of the anime that I've talked about in prior weeks. Like, I'm caught up with them. And yeah, all I can say is they continue to be really good. And I'm actually really impressed because these handful of anime that I picked for this season have been consistently really well done. Like, there's none that I would say are disappointing in any way. So that makes me happy. And yeah, if you've heard prior podcasts to this where I've talked about anime from this season, I mean, yeah, as usual, I just continue to recommend them. I continue to say you should check them out because I think they're all worth it. When it comes to movies, did not watch any new movies this week, unfortunately. When it comes to games, I did play some stuff. Nothing too exciting. However, I still think they're worth mentioning because they are some pretty good games. So the first thing that I played, and you guys should know this if you saw the review on my channel, is West of Loathing. And for anyone who didn't check out the review on my channel, West of Loathing is this really funny, really quirky game that is basically like a comedy RPG. And yeah, what's really interesting is that it is drawn in a stick figure art style, and everything's just black and white. And while that might sound like it's like a really cheap put together game. It's not. Like, it's really well thought out. Like, it's a really great game. Like, I definitely recommend playing it. There's just humor around every corner, whether it's like visual gags or the menus or the flavor text or the interactions you have with other characters. Like, there's just jokes and punchlines everywhere. The exploring aspect of it is really interesting. I love that instead of just having to fight people, there's all these like creative alternative solutions to like basically any problem. So for instance, there's this interaction where there's these guys in a hideout and you can choose to fight them, you know, of course, to get back this stolen item, or you can try to trick the leader into saying that you're his brother. Because if you go to like the sheriff's office, there's this poster that mentions this guy, how he steals faces apparently. And so, I mean, with that in mind, you can go to the leader and you can tell him that like, no, you're his brother and you stole some guy's face and that's why you look different. And apparently it works. And he's like, oh, okay, I didn't recognize you, blah, blah, blah. And you tell him that like people are coming to like arrest them. And he's like, yeah, thanks for the heads up. And they just like run off. And that counts as solving the problem. And so you get the experience points and you get back the stolen item without having to fight. So yeah, I mean, West of Loathing is just really fun. It's a really funny game. All the interactions and all like the solutions and stuff are great. The one thing that I would say is kind of a weakness that I talked about like in the review, I think the combat isn't too great. That's not to say that it's terrible, but I just think it's not, I mean, it's just kind of boring. I feel like it's really low stakes. You can kind of just mash out and spam the same, you know, attack or whatever. So I wouldn't really recommend it for like the fighting aspect. However, everything else about the game is great. And for only like $11 on the Switch, I definitely recommend it. I think it's worth a look, you know. Another game that I played is a game that was actually a PS Plus or whatever, free game for the month, and that was Iconoclasts. And Iconoclasts is a game I had been interested in a while. I know that when it first came out on the PS4, I wanted to buy it, but then I kind of forgot to, you know, pick it up. And then when it came on the Switch, you know, like earlier this year, same thing where I was going to get it, but I didn't have the money at the moment to pick it up. So I kind of put that to the side. But yeah, now that it's free on PS Plus or whatever this month, decided to pick it up, decided to finally play it. And yeah, I think it's a lot of fun and I recommend it. Basically, the game is a platformer / Metroidvania sort of thing. It's a little bit of both. And yeah, it's just really fun. You basically play as this girl named Robin, who's a mechanic. And her main weapon is a big wrench. She uses it to fight. I mean, you can get other weapons, but that's like her main weapon. And yeah, there's just this whole story that you actually really wouldn't expect because platformers usually have like pretty simple stories. It seems like the kind of story you would get from like an RPG, honestly. But basically in the world where she lives, there's like this religious group that's trying to like control everything, and they're trying to outlaw like the occupation of mechanics unless it's people like under their contract or whatever, and Robin doesn't agree with their rules and laws and all that, and so they're trying to kill her. And so basically you play as Robin as she's going through all these different levels and helping people who are in trouble and getting people to join her cause because they're doing like a little revolution against this like religious order or whatever. And yeah, it actually had a pretty interesting story. I mean, I haven't beat the game yet. I'm about maybe like halfway, I think. But so far, you know, the story's pretty interesting. It's more than what I thought I was going to get. And the gameplay's pretty fun. I mean, I'm a sucker for platformers and like Metroidvania style games, but I've really enjoyed it. I think it's a lot of fun. So I definitely recommend taking a look at it. Especially if you have the PlayStation Plus or whatever you call that thing that gives you the free games each month. I would recommend downloading the game because it's pretty good. Similarly, I also played the other game that was free this month called Soma. And Soma, I was familiar with. I had actually seen a Let's Play of it when it first came out because there's this Let's Play channel that I really like and like to follow. And basically around like Halloween time, they did a full playthrough of the game. So I know about the game. However, I had never played it for myself. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a really good game. The atmosphere and stuff is pretty like unnerving and stuff. For anyone who doesn't know, Soma is a survival horror game with a heavy emphasis on like psychological horror. And in the game, you play as this guy who in 2015 gets into a car crash and he gets taken to like this place where they're doing like a bunch of experiments on him and testing, you know, that sort of thing to try to save his life. And suddenly he wakes up and it's the year 2104. And he soon learns that in the year 2103, this like cataclysmic event took place. I want to say it was like a meteor hit or something. I'm actually not remembering, which sucks because, I mean, I like short-term memory, but whatever. The point is, like, some sort of cataclysmic event happens, which basically wipes out like a lot of life and like ruins the earth, that sort of thing. And so it's been a year since that, and he soon learns that he's in an underwater research base. And so you follow the main character as he traverses the underwater research base. He's trying to figure out about his past and what happened to him. And he keeps running into all these like machines that act very human-like, which is like really creepy. And yeah, the game's just really good. As I said, even though I already know about the game basically and like where it goes, just playing through it is just really interesting. The atmosphere is really good. Because it's a survival horror, like I said, it's more about like psychological than really like fighting or like that sort of thing or jump scares. You actually can't fight off any of like the creatures. You basically have to like solve puzzles and like run away from them and stuff. And yeah, the game just does a really good job of really being like really unsettling and being like really creepy. The themes that it touches upon with technology and humanity and stuff is really interesting. And yeah, same thing as Iconoclast. If you have not played this game, I definitely recommend it. And if you can get it for free this month, which with PlayStation Plus, I definitely recommend it. So yeah. And yeah, I mean, the last thing I have on my list that I was hoping to play before I started the podcast was, of course, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And I mean, it sucks because I wasn't able to play it, but hopefully, you know, I'll receive my copy later today. And by next week, I'll play as much as I can and just give you guys an opinion of what I thought about it. So that's it for my week. Like I said, nothing too remarkable, but I mean, it is what it is. Moving on to the news, I actually have quite a few stories I want to share with you guys, and the first batch is actually from the Game Awards last night. Now, I don't know about any of you, and like I said before, I know some people are kind of iffy about awards shows because they feel like it becomes more about like popularity contests and people winning due to getting votes than it is about, you know, a thing actually winning an award because it really deserves it, like off its merit. But I mean, all that aside, all the politics aside, I think that the Game Awards show is really fun to watch each year. I always really enjoy it. I think that the host, Jeff Keighley, I mean, to me, he seems really genuine whenever he talks and describes the event and stuff. I mean, I think that he really does just want to have a fun event, you know, once a year where, you know, everyone just spends that night enjoying video games and celebrating some of like the most popular games and stuff like that, you know? And I just think that every year it's pretty fun, and I always look forward to the trailers and announcements. So I'll get to the trailers and announcements in a moment. But first, I just want to say that, yeah, it was a pretty good show. I didn't enjoy all of it. I mean, there's some stuff that I thought was kind of like, It was either cringy or I just thought it was kind of boring or it just didn't really excite me. But overall, I think the Game Awards 2018 was pretty good. Congratulations to like God of War for winning Best Game of the Year. Congratulations to Celeste for winning, you know, Indie Game. What else? Congrats to, I guess, Red Dead Redemption 2 for winning Best Soundtrack. I mean, I know that was a little bit controversial. People didn't really agree, but when they did like their concert or whatever, I thought the music was pretty good. So, I mean, I can see why it won. And yeah, I mean, I'm not remembering everything that won right now, but congrats to all the games and all the content creators and all the people behind the games who won all the awards. I think that was pretty cool. But yeah, all that aside, there was a few announcements and trailers that came from the Game Awards show, and those are the ones I'm excited to talk about. So first of all, the first story I want to talk about is that the Stanley Parable is getting a port to consoles and the PC. I guess it's getting like a new version, and it's called the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. Now, I don't know if anyone here has ever played the Stanley Parable from the last time I talked about that achievement, that, you know, the 5-year achievement or whatever. I know there were some people who mentioned that they really liked the game. And so yeah, good news, guys. The Stanley Parable is making its way to the console for the first time. And not only is it just making its way to the console, but apparently Ultra Deluxe is like a new version of it that's going to have new endings and choices. So I think it is slated for, I want to say next year. Let me check really quick. I want to say it's slated for next year. Yes, coming to PC and consoles in 2019. And yeah, I mean, you can expect it on the PS4, the Xbox One, the Switch. I mean, if you originally played on the PC and that's where you want to play the new version of it, it's coming to PC as well. And yeah, I'm excited. I think the Stanley Parable is a really fun, really unique game. So seeing that we're going to get more of that and that we're going to get like new stuff, I look forward to it. So that's cool. Let's see here. Likewise, I was really excited when Supergiant Games announced their new game, Hades. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, Supergiant Games is the same studio who made Bastion, Transistor, which I actually, talked about on the podcast a few weeks ago, and Pyre. And yeah, I mean, everything that Supergiant Games makes, I think is really good. I think it's always like really unique. It's always really fun to play. And so yeah, just hearing that they have a new game is exciting. And the bad thing is that it's only coming to PC at the moment. I mean, in the future, you never know. It might get a Switch release or, for all consoles, whatever. But yeah, I mean, just hearing that they have a new game is awesome. And I don't know, I really look forward to playing it sometime in the future. It just has like a really nice art style. The gameplay is hack and slash, dungeon crawler style, which I mean, I always enjoy hack and slash stuff. I mean, it's always just fun to like mow down enemies, cut through them. Dungeon crawler is always fun. It's always just cool to explore dungeons and stuff. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm just looking forward to it. I'll try to play it sometime in the future. And yeah, if you guys are interested, check it out. As I said, I always really recommend Supergiant Games titles. I think they're always really good. So yeah. Another thing that I was pretty excited to hear about was that Crash Team Racing has been announced for the PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. So similar to the Insane trilogy that came out not too long ago, Crash Team Racing, Nitro-Fueled is what it's called, is a remaster, basically. Remaster slash what? Like remake? Whatever. That's coming to all systems June 21st, 2019. And yeah, I mean, if you ever played Crash Team Racing back in the day, it was a pretty fun game. And just seeing that there's going to be a new release next year is pretty exciting. And I think it's a lot of fun. Oh, and one last thing. It says it's going to be releasing for $40. So that's pretty good, not having to pay full price is pretty nice. So look forward to that, I guess. Another thing that I was super excited to hear about, because I've been waiting quite a while since the last one, is that Mortal Kombat 11 was announced for the PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. So yeah, I mean, that's just really exciting. I don't know about any of you, but I really like the Mortal Kombat games. I always think that they're a ton of fun to play. I'm always looking forward to what characters will show up, where the story will go, because honestly, as weird as it sounds, and even though the stories are really crazy, I feel like Mortal Kombat is probably one of the fighting games with like the best story out there. Like, not to say that the story doesn't have flaws and stuff, but when you look at how NetherRealm Studios handles story modes, for like stuff like Mortal Kombat and Injustice, stuff like that, they actually handle the story mode pretty well. Like, there's always like a full narrative, and the way they integrate the fights just makes sense compared to something like Street Fighter V, for instance. The story mode for Street Fighter V was terrible. Basically, you just fought each person like once, which was like really awkward. I mean, it was like one round. And yeah, I mean, the story was really nothing. But I thought that Mortal Kombat 9 and 10 have both done like a really good job with this new like reboot story. And so yeah, I'm just really looking forward to it. It says here that it's supposed to have a global launch on It's supposed to have a global launch on April 23rd, 2019. And yeah, the most surprising part is the fact that it's coming to Switch as well. I mean, at first I thought maybe that was just someone spraying a false rumor when I first heard it. But yeah, I mean, it's supposed to come to all consoles and PC next year. And so that will definitely be interesting because, I mean, will the Switch even be able to handle these current gen graphics? I mean, I don't know, but they're going for it. So yeah, I'm excited to see how that goes. Likewise, I am also really excited for this next one, which is Psychonauts 2. Psychonauts 2 had an official reveal trailer. And yeah, I'm just super excited for that because I love the first Psychonauts. If you guys watched my Comic-Con video, I actually got an autograph from the voice of Lily. Like, I talked to the voice actress and I got her autograph and I like fanboyed over her and all sorts of stuff because I love the series. And yeah, I'm just so happy to finally see something about this game because it had just been really quiet for a while. Unfortunately, there's not really a release date yet. It just says sometime in 2019. However, I'm excited for it. I can't wait to play it. And yeah, I mean, if you guys check out the trailer, I'm really impressed with the graphics because that's one thing I will say, that if you look at Psychonauts 1, the low quality graphics plus the art style made everything look kind of like, I don't know, everything just looked weird. Looked kind of like, I don't know, it just looks strange. I don't really know how to describe it, but all the character models and like with the low quality, it just had like this weird feeling to it. Looked like maybe like a crappy, like, I'm gonna be honest, it looked like a crappy like third brand animated series from like Nickelodeon from the 90s or something. Like, I know I'm being a little bit harsh, but you know what I mean? Like, the graphics just aren't great, especially with like the character models. Everything just looked strange. But with these new graphics, everything looks really good. And like even the character models, which are like the same as the other games, they just don't look like lumpy potatoes anymore. Like, you can actually appreciate like the character designs and stuff. So I don't know, that's just my 2 cents, but I just think it looks great and I am excited to play it. And yeah, we'll just have to see when that comes out, but I am looking forward to it. Finally, the last thing that I want to talk about, and it's something that I can't even believe. As I was watching the Game Awards show, this announcement / reveal just blew my mind and I couldn't even believe it. Like, it's just so crazy. And so for anyone who doesn't know, what I am talking about is the fact that Joker from Persona 5 has been announced as the first DLC character for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Which, wow, like how that even came to be, I don't even know. It doesn't even make sense because Persona 5 isn't even on the Switch. I mean, none of the Persona games have ever even been on a Nintendo console as far as I know. Yeah, I mean, I just don't know how he made it into Smash. I don't know how the logistics of that work. I mean, I thought that characters had to have some sort of like a, I mean, I guess maybe because of the spin-off title being on the Nintendo 3DS, maybe because of that, maybe that's how he applies. I mean, I don't even know how it works, but all I know is I am super excited. Persona 5 is one of like my favorite games from, was it last year? I want to say last year. It was one of my favorite games. I really enjoyed it. Out of the protagonists from Persona, I want to say Joker's probably my favorite protagonist. I just felt like he had like the most interesting personality and like story going on. And so yeah, just seeing that he's coming to Smash is awesome. And I can't wait to play as him. And not only that, but like the whole story is just so interesting because I feel like at this point, I mean, we live in a world where any character seems to be able to make it into any fighting game. I mean, we live in a world where Akuma and Prince Noctis and Negan, who isn't even a video game character, are in Tekken 7. We live in a world where Nier Automata has 2B in Soul Calibur 6, as well as Geralt from The Witcher. You know, they're in Soul Calibur 6, which is incredible. And yeah, I mean, we live in a world where Smash has Cloud and Bayonetta and Snake and Joker from Persona 5. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's crazy, but I think it is awesome. Just seeing him come to the game. I'm super excited. And I'm just super excited for what this means, too, for the other DLC characters. Because if Joker from Persona 5, which has like nothing to do with Nintendo, made it in, I feel like the door's open to anybody. You know what I mean? Like, for people who want Banjo and Kazooie to make it in, I mean, that seems even more possible now, despite the fact that they belong to Microsoft. Because Microsoft has not only said that they would like Banjo and Kazooie to make it in, but come on. If a Sony exclusive character can make it into Smash, there is no reason that Banjo and Kazooie can't make it, you know? So, I mean, I don't know. I'm just super excited. I continue to be awesomely surprised by Nintendo and by Smash Ultimate. And yeah, I just look forward to playing him as him in the future, and I look forward to seeing who else gets released, you know? Let's see here. Yeah, that's basically all the stories I want to talk about for the Game Awards Roundup. As I said, you guys can check those out in the link in the description below. And I'm going to try to see if I can add a link that not only talks about each story individually, but maybe talks about the whole event, like summarizes it. I'll try to include that for anyone who didn't watch the Game Awards show as well, if you're interested. But yeah, as I said, that's basically all I want to talk about for the Game Awards show. Those are the things that stood out to me and that I want to talk about. So yeah, moving on, the first story that I want to talk about that doesn't have to do with the Game Awards show is that the PlayStation Classic is out now, and apparently it is getting very poor reviews. So just reading off the title right here real quick, it says, PlayStation Classic Review. The games are great, but the emulation is really poor. And then under that, it says, a profound disappointment. So yeah, I was really reading through the article earlier, and apparently the whole system is just really disappointing. Apparently, from what I read in the article, it's just really crappy, and you can tell time wasn't really put into it. Basically, you can tell that they really just made these as cheap as possible and pushed them out the door. I'm trying to look for where it talks about all the problems. One thing that's an issue with it is that apparently it only has 720p output. So that means you can't run your games at 1080p. It says here it doesn't feature any filters, scan lines, or adjustments to improve video output. And it's locked to RGB full range. So, I'm not too familiar with all the settings and stuff, but from what I understand, what you get with the settings and what the game looks like, you're stuck with. If you play an emulator on your computer, you can mess around with the settings, make the game look however you want, to your liking. But here you're just stuck with what it looks like. And not only that, but worst of all, besides just the visuals, is that apparently it's using this computer chip that is really weak and doesn't even run the games perfectly. It even says here, for instance, Final Fantasy VII's music slows down at points because the chip can't handle emulating the games. So yeah, I just think that's really unfortunate. I think it really sucks that whoever is looking forward to the PlayStation Classic got screwed over out of what was it, $100, whatever? I forgot how much this thing cost. But yeah, I just think that's embarrassing. While the NES Classic and the SNES Classic, they have issues too, but while those you can tell the time was taken to try to make them as good as possible, this thing just seems like they just pushed it out the door. Basically it's just a piece of plastic shaped like a PS1 with a crappy chip in it that can't even play the games. So that's just really sad. And yeah, that just sucks. I hope that whoever bought it is able to get a refund or hacks it or whatever to make it more worth their time, because that's just really disappointing, you know what I mean? Another story that I want to talk about is that a few weeks ago, maybe even last week, I actually don't remember, I had talked about Hajime Tabata and how he had left, he had stepped down as director of Final Fantasy 15, and how he had left Square Enix completely. And yeah, I had said that really sucked, and I really wished the best for him, and I hope that he landed on his feet, all that good stuff. And yeah, apparently he landed on his feet and he hit the ground running because, as this story talks about, Hajime Tabata is establishing JP Games. So basically it's a new studio. It's supposed to launch January of 2019. And yeah, there's not really much to the story, but I just think that that's really interesting because he had just left Square Enix. I had just said that I wish him the best, and here we go. He has a new studio in the works, and it launches in about a month. So I don't know. I look forward to seeing what kind of games he makes. I don't think his games have been the best, but he's made some stuff that's pretty good. And yeah, we'll see how it goes, and we'll see what the first game he makes is. So I don't know. Just thought I'd share that with you guys. Okay, when it comes to this next story, it's just the latest of me being confused of who's asking for this. There's all these revivals and reboots happening all the time. I don't know why. I feel like while it's nice to revive some stuff, I feel like there's some stuff that's just better off dead. And so yeah, as this next story talks about, apparently Celebrity Deathmatch is being revived by MTV and Ice Cube. Now, for anyone who's not familiar with it, Celebrity Deathmatch was this stop motion TV show on MTV that featured different clay versions of celebrities, and they would fight each other to the death. Basically, it was a little show full of all these characters, and it would parody the characters, and it would have them fight each other. And I don't really know how to describe it. The humor is very much of the time. it's the kind of thing where I feel like it doesn't really work nowadays because people have seen so much stuff since then. Like, if that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, apparently it's getting revived, and I don't know, like I said, it just feels so of the time. It just feels weird to bring it back. It just feels weird that Ice Cube's involved. Like, I don't really know what he can bring to the table. I mean, I think Ice Cube's a talented guy, don't get me wrong, but I just don't see what he can do for the show. And not only that, but MTV doesn't even bother to have good shows anymore. Like, people barely even watch MTV, except for all those people who are interested in stuff like 16 and Pregnant or whatever, or Jersey Shore or whatever. So them trying to release a show like this, I just feel like it's going to tank because who's going to watch it? So I don't know. The whole thing just sounds weird to me. As I said, I don't know who asked for this. I don't know who this is for, since MTV is like a wasteland at this point. But I mean, it is what it is. Apparently they're trying to revive it. And not only that, but if you read the article, apparently they've been trying to revive it since 2015. So I mean, I guess this has been in the works for a while. But yeah, we'll see how that goes, because I honestly don't think it's going to do really good. I think it's going to tank, but I mean, here's to see what happens, I guess. Likewise, speaking of stuff that I don't know why it's getting revived / rebooted, apparently Child's Play, which is, the Chucky series, apparently the Child's Play series is getting rebooted, and yeah, the whole situation is just really weird. Like, in this article, the title is Child's Play creator rejected producer credit on MGM's reboot. And so if you read the whole article, it's really weird because MGM is planning a Chucky reboot, and they offered to give the original creator a producer credit, but he said no, because what the weird thing is that he has a TV show and hold on, it's a TV series. I swear I saw that was another project. What was it? It was a TV series and something else, I want to say. I'm not reading the other thing. I swear there was another thing. But anyway, yeah, apparently the Child's Play creator is actually in the middle of making a Chucky TV show. So it's weird because we're getting a reboot of the movie series, and that's going to be like one canon. But we're also going to get a TV series that follows the original canon, and they're both going to be happening at the same time, which I don't even know how that works. And yeah, so basically if you read the article, the creator's mad because he feels like it's kind of like a betrayal for them to do a reboot when he's in the middle of this project, with the TV series. And not only that, but he feels that the last 3 movies that he directed did pretty good. I mean, he even says that the last 3 movies actually had pretty high critic scores and did pretty good despite being direct to DVD movies. And so yeah, it's just really weird that if the last few movies did really good, and if he's in the middle of the TV series, I don't know why they would choose to reboot the series now, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I guess we'll see how that goes, but yeah, it's just really weird. Apparently they're going to change Chucky's origins. They're going to have maybe a new looking doll. So, I mean, I don't know. I've never really been too big of a fan of the Chucky series. I mean, I'm not too fond of the movies. I mean, they're all right, whatever. But I just still find this thing, the whole thing just so weird. And I don't know. I mean, I feel like they should have stuck with the original creator. I mean, if the guy has ideas and he's still making new movies, I feel like it's kind of disrespectful to just try to ignore hhim and do their own thing. But I mean, that's the way Hollywood works, I guess. So it is what it is. We'll see how that goes. I mean, if it doesn't deserve to do good, it won't do good. So there you go. And likewise, speaking of if it'll do good if it deserves to. There's been a trailer for Watership Down. Earlier this week, they released the first trailer for the show, and I don't know. I mean, a lot of people in the comments are complaining about the visuals, and I mean, to be honest, I mean, they have a point. The visuals aren't great. However, I feel like that's the only thing people are focusing on. And I mean, when it comes to TV shows or any work really, there's more than just the visuals. I mean, there's the story, the voice acting, the themes, how good of an adaptation is, that kind of thing. So I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm just blind. To me, the visuals don't seem like that big of a deal. I mean, I think they look bad, but I wouldn't say they're it's a total deal breaker, but I don't know. Everyone in the comments of this trailer are just talking so much crap about it. But yeah, I mean, if you guys are interested, the link will be in the description below. You guys can check out the first trailer. Tell me what you think. As I said, I don't think the visuals are great. However, what they show seems pretty interesting. And yeah, like I said, I mean, if it deserves to do good, I guess it'll do good. Regardless, I'm going to give the show a chance. I'm excited to see what they do. And yeah, likewise, tell me what you guys think. So yeah, that's it for the week. I hope that you guys found some of the stories interesting. As always, links will be in the description below. Let me know what you guys thought. Leave comments, all that good stuff. Love seeing what you guys have to say. And yeah, that's it for the week. And so that means that it's time for the content creator spotlight. And so the content creator for this week is a channel that I actually discovered not too long ago. Funny story, I didn't find them. They kind of found me. I forget how exactly they found me. I think they said that it was either through Reddit or it was through some other like friend of mine's channel that they saw my videos or something and they decided to check me out. I mean, I would have to double check. Regardless though, somehow I discovered this guy's channel, you know, because he found me first. And yeah, the channel I'm talking about is a channel called CineMAZE, the film discussion channel. And currently sitting at 714 subscribers. This channel is really impressive to me. He's only been doing videos since January, so, you know, about a year. But I think his videos are just really interesting and really in depth. Basically, what I'm talking about is that he does videos on... I'm just going to read some titles to you guys. So, one video, for instance, is How I Would Change Solo, a Star Wars movie. That's one of them. Another one is Who Should Direct Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Another one is Venom Review, non-spoiler. And then, like, the last one I watched was Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald, non-spoiler. And yeah, his videos are just really good. I think the visuals and the way he uses pictures and graphics is really great. I think he has a really good narrating voice. And the videos themselves are just really interesting. They're like these reviews and analysis and the way he like discusses different topics. And I mean, like when he talks about like who should like direct Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, or where he talks about how he would change Han Solo, how he would change Solo, a Star Wars story, whatever it's called. Yeah, they're just really well done. He has a lot of really great ideas. The way he presents his case is really interesting. The videos aren't too long. They're all, I would say like around like 15 minutes or less. So they don't drag out for too long. Like I'm looking at Solo, a Star Wars story, and how he would change it. That one's like 6 minutes, 20 seconds. Who Should Direct Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is like 4 minutes. His review of Venom is 12 minutes. That's probably one of his longer videos. But yeah, he just has really interesting videos. He does really good reviews. He does really good analysis / like he looks at how he would change stuff, or reminds me of some of the earlier videos I did on my channel. And yeah, I just am really impressed. I think CineMAZE is doing a great job and I suggest checking him out. I mean, CineMAZE, if you're hearing this, I discovered your channel not too long ago, but I am really impressed with what I see. I think that if you've done this good in just a year, I mean, I think with more practice, you are going to do great. And I can easily see you surpassing me. I mean, the fact that you have 714 subscribers after not even a year, when it's taken me like 2+ years to get like 800. I mean, I think you're probably going to surpass me, which is fine. I mean, well deserved. And yeah, man, just keep up the good work. I think your stuff is awesome. And as I said, everybody, give him some love, check out his stuff, and I don't know, just tell him that I sent you guys. I think he has some good stuff. And yeah, with that being said, that brings me to the end of the podcast. That is another one in the bag. Hopefully the podcast was enjoyable. Hopefully I brought up something that interested you guys, you know, that sort of thing. And yeah, just have Smash on the brain, guys. I just want to play Smash so bad. I guess while I'm waiting for Smash to arrive, I'll have to play West of Loathing or something. So I don't know. I'll see what I do after the podcast is done. But yeah, hopefully I play Smash by the next podcast so that's, you know, out of my system. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next week. And as always, my name has been Wannabe Reviewer, and I am out. I will see you guys next time.
know what you're starting? But you sure we got the clue how bad this we go. Don't you know? No more art. And as you look to the horizon,